G'day and welcome to Aussievision, and good morning, of course. It's very early on Tuesday morning after the rehearsals overnight on Monday for us here in Australia. I have my coffee this morning to keep me awake. I actually got this ABBA mug from back in 2016 at Eurovision in Stockholm, so it does seem quite appropriate. But let's talk about the rehearsals overnight. We had some big names taking part, but we will go through an order of how they went through in the evening. So let's start with Malta. This I thought was looked like a really good performance. I really like her silvery outfit that she has on. Is obviously very similar to the dance routine that was done for her national final at Mesk. They did sort of mention that it had been sort of sharpened up quite a lot from what they'd done there as well. So look, I think from it's not doing anything new on the tin. It looks like it's elevated for the Eurovision stage, and this is a nice slick performance to start the show. So I think they've done well here, and I think it looks really good. It's very hard to say much more than that because we've seen it all before a little bit, but you know, there's nothing wrong with just doing this simple and doing this well. A little bit like Cyprus in the first semi-final. So Malta kicking off the show with a little dance banger, and we'll see how it goes. It's very dark and, you know, silvery, of course. There may be references to other artists that people think at home, but wait and see. I think whatever happens, she'll do a really good job, and she looks fantastic. I like what I saw from Malta. Next up was Albania. This is our first kind of like, wow, very different from the national final. Number one, because the song is now in English, says Titan for Bessa, and very different colors and different things going on stage. So she's wearing this blue outfit, which I do think I quite like. I do like it. It's just we've got the departure away from the usual red and black for Albania that they use so well and they always qualify with. And yes, it's predictable, but it is a formula that works. So the blue is good. It's interesting. There's some dancers that she has around her. I did feel like it's very hard to tell on the TikTok, right? Did feel like she was a little stilted, a little stiff, but it's first rehearsal, and she's a pro, and she will absolutely nail it on the night. I'm just not sure I'm really won over by the staging from what I can see so far, but it's very hard to tell, as always. So I like the outfit. I like all the individual pieces. Do I like it the way it's all coming together and looking for the song? Not sure. But there is that kind of new sort of upbeat part at the end of the song, which apparently has quite some good impact. So that should be a nice little one for them. Though I do think coming into this, they were they struggling? They are struggling in the odds. I think we've always got to remember there's things like a lot of nations that are very supportive of Albania are in the semi-final. So if anyone thinks they don't have a chance of qualifying, just be careful. And we know Bessa is an absolute pro and will bring it on the night. She was fantastic in Festivali at Congress. So I don't have any doubt it'll be a good performance. I just need to be won over with the colours. All right, let's go to Greece next. I just didn't know how they were going to do this right after the music video, and I think it looks good because they're just doing a really interesting aesthetic. Like, I'm not a fashionista. I'm not sure about the skirt thing, but I'm not a fashionista, and she just looks good and she looks cool, and she's got some great dancers, and it does feel like they're going very tight on the camera shots. You can notice a lot of them. I think they said it in the live blog. You can see it in the TikTok, keeping it very tight around their performance, but then probably opening up for some of those nice moments that are the kind of traditional looking Greek dance in a very modern way from what we can see. A lot of color, a lot of like rainbowy mixed colors for LED backdrop and on floor and stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a explosion of everything, but so is the music video. So it's probably going to suit it. I don't know how they do it, but the one thing is she looks like a performer. She just walks out on that stage, and even in the little TikTok thing, it's just like she's one of the big dogs. Like she's gonna come out and stomp around on that stage. It's an unusual song, but I think they're gonna do well with it. Definitely need to see that one in a full run through because there's just a lot, you know, going on and how these pieces are going to come together. But I have faith in Greece. Love the song. So let's go to Switzerland next. The favorite, Nemo, The Code. And wow, Nemo has given themselves quite a lot to do with that sloping stage thing in the middle that moves around. I mean, I have no balance to even like like ice skate or skate, and he's going up around in front of things of 200 million people. I really think it's quite visually stunning from what we can see from it. I think it's one of those staging moments that's going to really stand out and probably stand out in sort of the history of Eurovision potentially. I like the colours of what Nemo's wearing. I think they really pop against that more stark background and the kind of one colour of this kind of stage. So you've kind of, from what we can see in images, it's all greys and blacks and lights and whatever. From what we can see in images, it's all pinks and whites, and you have this furry thing that they're wearing, including the boots, and I think it just really pops. The only issue I have is it looks very full around the neck area. And I just always think at Eurovision, you really want to connect as much as possible down that camera and just don't have anything up around here. Like just keep yourself open. So that was my only kind of thing with it. I think it will divide people, but again, you don't need to, people forget this, you do not need to win over the majority of Europe to get a big score. It's not how the percentage of votes works. So just has to win over enough people, and I think that they're going to do a incredible job, and it looks really, really, really good. And certainly, I don't think we'll be killing their chances at this point. The outfit definitely will be a talking point. All right, let's go to Czechia. So interesting, they apparently supplied staging notes to the live vlog. Very clever, well done, delegation team. Now, this apparently representing the different stages of grief, was it? I can't remember now. So obviously I didn't pay enough attention to the staging notes. And look, people at home aren't going to know about this. Ultimately, it looks like a bit of a dance routine. She's being lifted up at times, which looks really visually stunning. The biggest thing, as we know from the national final, is not to exert too much to focus on vocals as well, but I'm sure they've got that under control. They always bring very good staging, Czechia, to the contest, and they do always elevate what they've had or bring something that's really good if they have not performed before. So I have no doubt it'll look good, and I think Aiko looks fantastic. It's very modern, and obviously maybe people will compare it to Malta with the stage show and being lifted, and Czechia being stage show and lifted. People are that simple, especially those who are voting, so don't get upset that people compare it. It's just what human nature is going to do. We like to categorize, and we're going to see that it's kind of similar in a way. So it may also be, will they eat each other, or will one just stand out more than the other? It's a great song, Czechia, so let's see how that all goes. Austria. Well, she's basically going off to a rave or to a party. I don't think it's like an actual rave. Raves are a lot harder than that, I will tell you. So essentially, she's got the fur coat on because she's about to go out on the town. She gets to the rave, she takes it off, and she dances around. Outfit looks awesome. Really catches a light. Like, it's simple, right? It's very simple, but it catches a light, allows her to dance and move, which is going to be one of the big things of this. So I think for what it is, it's captured that kind of like party in a warehouse on the Eurovision stage, and woman goes out for a big night out and has a good time. And I think that's what this is going to really try and achieve, and I think it'll do it really well. I like it, it looks good, and I think it stands out in that different way that we've seen things like Malta or we've seen like Czechia. This is a different feel and a different aesthetic as well, so I like it. Denmark, there's sand. There's sand apparently in her pockets, in Salva's pockets, and she's dropping, which I think is good. Like, this is not a subtle song, so don't be subtle on the staging. It's very kind of Scandi pop, done well, and I think, you know, lean into the sand thing. I would lean into the sand thing hard. Don't do your sand drawing and everything, but you've got to feature some sand. So I like that. The box thing that she stands on has been improved. I still would have liked to see maybe something a little bit more Eurovision, but it's all about her. There's some light projections, and there's an LED sort of version of her behind doing some movements, and then something happens at the end. The LED behind and with her, just a singular one, which doesn't look massive or anything like that. That'll be interesting to see what that actually looks like. Because it's a bit hard to tell, because that sounded to me a bit odd, just like one and one. Like, is she shadowing her? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what that actually looks like. But yeah, I think this is. I maybe would have liked to see some few more elements to it, but I think the LEDs look good, and The sand prop works, and I like the song, so we'll see how it goes. Armenia, I thought this looked really good. I thought this looked fantastic. Dark horse about a really good televote score. People love to lean into this folk stuff in terms of music and aesthetic. I do as well. The sort of pyramid of boxes for the musicians is really good. It looks really good and really pops, and it's a lot to work with staging. So very clever. Obviously, there's a way to hand him instruments because he's playing a trumpet at one point and he's playing something else later, which is great. She looks terrific. She's going to bring energy. The colors are great. This was probably the staging I probably liked the most today, even from Switzerland. I'm impressed with Switzerland, and I think it'll work. But this Armenia one just looks like light and joy and fun, and I think this is what we kind of need, and I think they'll do a really good job of it, and hopefully it all comes together. I was very impressed with Armenia. Really liked it. So, yeah, I guess that's for the day. I think Armenia, Switzerland really looked great as well. To be honest, everyone looked really good. I think maybe my question mark might be Albania. That was probably it, really. I think some were just what we expected, but some were really interesting. Obviously, Switzerland and Greece were two that we really wanted to see what they were going to look like, because they're kind of contenders, particularly Switzerland. And I think what they brought looks really good. So bring on day 4 of rehearsals. Thanks, guys.